Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
I was telling you a moment ago, B, that the show was a lot more fun when they were 11-0, right? I mean, it's still fun. Still a lot to play for, but it's just like
oh, there's everything to play for.
Of course. But the looking back part, I got to look forward. I know, but I don't know who to look forward to yet. Like, I don't know. Like, am I looking forward to a top 4 seed? Probably not. Am I looking forward to, group of 5 team coming to Kyle Field? Am I looking forward to what? I don't know. So, but I'm trying to turn the page, but we're still going to look back a little bit.
Well, we get a pretty good idea, not the finished product, but we get a pretty good idea of what that matchup will be tonight.
Yep. What? There's still, yeah. There'll be some movement.
There's still work to do.
Yeah.
If Duke wins the ACC, that could really change things. And if, do we find out if A&M's 5th, they're not, let's say if A&M tonight is ranked number 5, they're probably not going to fall unless Alabama beats Georgia.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Somebody texted the show yesterday, and we didn't get to it, so I'll ask you and I forget who it was, but he said, how do we feel about a 5-loss Duke team maybe getting into the playoffs if they win the ACC championship?
I'm of the mind that if you win one of the major conferences,
you should go.
You should go. But the way the rule is set up now, it says the only automatic bids go to the 5 highest ranked conference champions. And if say Tulane or North Texas, they're ranked ahead of them. James Madison ranked ahead of them.
Right.
What I don't like is, and I don't like if the let's say James Madison wins the Sun Belt.
Mm-hmm.
What are they? I think they're going to be ranked today. I think they may be already ranked. North Texas, let's say they win. They're ranked. I don't want to see the committee all of a sudden decide, oh, no, that Duke victory over Virginia was so impressive that they go from non-ranked all the way up to number 19 in front of these other guys, where it's so obvious that they're gerrymandering it. Hey, you know what? I'll say the same thing to Duke because of the way the rules are written that I would say to Texas. Shouldn't have lost those games. Shouldn't have.
We don't want to schedule Ohio State in the future then.
Okay, then don't. But that's not, and I know you know this, Texas or anybody else in that position is not being punished for losing to Ohio State. They're being punished for losing to Florida.
Let's say their 3 losses would have been to Ohio State. Who was their second loss? I can't remember their second. Georgia. And let's just call it another top 5 team, say A&M.
Okay.
Would they have more of an argument to get in than their?
I think they'd have more of an argument. I think it's really hard to get around those 3 losses, though. And but that said, I do, in that situation, I do believe I kind of understand where Greg Sankey, why it's been such a hill to die on for him, saying the strength of schedule component.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's another reason why I think that I hate having a committee. Go back to the computers, get about a dozen different computer programs, throw out every team, however they're ranked, throw out the number 1 and their best and their worst, and compile it and let that be the way that it's the teams that are decided. Like I would have to say that if it came down to, say, I'm trying to think of who's a two-loss team that hadn't beaten anybody.
Two-loss team that hasn't beaten anybody.
Off the top of my head, you're saying if Texas had not lost.
Right.
Maybe I'd put them ahead of Notre Dame. Right?
Yeah.
But you can't ignore, at least I don't think the committee can ignore the loss to Florida.
You cannot.
I mean, so you're saying, hey, forgive us of our loss to Ohio State, but don't acknowledge the loss to Florida. Because I heard him say, if we had not played, we could have played anybody. Yeah, and you'd be 10-2, just like all these other 10-2, but you would have the loss to 3-7 Florida. And they say, yeah, but we've got this win over Oklahoma and things like that. Okay, then you get in over Oklahoma.
Yeah. Who do we want to see more of? Because I'm watching the game on Friday, and the first name that comes to my mind, I'll let you say it first, but I'd like to see more of that guy. I don't know why we don't see more of him. Talking about A&M, who do you want to see more of? More touches, more action, more.
If
more
nobody else is back from injury, I want to see more of E.J. Smith.
Bam, that's what I had on my rundown. I had E.J. Smith as my number one name.
E.J. Smith just runs hard every time I see him running, And if he's a guy that you'll trust on 4th and 2 against Arkansas to get that first down, and he made the play, then he's the guy I'm going to trust to carry the ball more.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I'm not seeing more of EJ. And I know Ruben had a really big game against Missouri, but it just seems to me that if the tough physical yards, that's EJ.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing more Amari Daniels.
Amari's always been very solid. No matter what the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
He is. And then he also has, big play potential, just like Ruben does.
I'd also say, and we see a lot of him, but I'd like to see more action for Terry Bussey.
Yeah. The issue there is he's the fourth receiver.
Yeah.
Because you want to see less of Ashton Bethel-Roman or Mario Craven?
No, I just want to see more of those. Oh, there's that Terry Bussey play.
Yeah. I wish that I would have loved to have seen him get creative with him. I mean, again, the kid was a quarterback. If you're ever going to do that play that South Carolina did, the Philly special thing, I mean, you're just asking for it when you got a guy playing receiver who was a quarterback before.
Yeah. How about the injured guys?
Le'Veon.
Please let me see Le'Veon.
Le'Veon, absolutely. And that's no shot on anybody else, but Le'Veon's the best running back you got. So hopefully he'll be healthy and ready to go.
McKinley, look up how many games he played last year and how many games he played this year. What, 6 games this year?
Was it 6? I know it was 8 last year, wasn't it?
8, yeah, so 14 games. So.
And he's well over 1,000 yards if you're looking at a normal
season.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here, look. After 12 games, I said this after 7 games, I'm saying it after 12. You are who you are, right? And this team has not been a team that has been able to put together 4 quarters. That's who they are. Now, I don't know how many teams have, right? I can't tell you if Georgia all season long put together 4 quarters of dominant football. I don't know.
Yeah, I bet you almost everybody who's in the top 10 has done that. Has the A&M ever done it?
Like in a SEC game?
I mean, or any game. I mean, that's against, even
Power 4.
Yeah. Because maybe Florida, even though Florida started well, but I got to say, I think you can still play a good quarter without and still give up points. I mean, nobody expects perfection. You just don't want to see whatever the opposite, disaster.
Right.
Like disaster was the second half against Texas. Disaster was the second quarter against LSU.
Disaster was the first half against South
Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many dominant halves have we seen?
Dominant halves. Well, we've saw
LSU, dominant half. South Carolina, dominant half.
Yeah, almost everybody I even think they had a dominant half
Mississippi
against
State, dominant.
Auburn, except for one dominant play call that led to the interception. Everything else, you controlled that game.
Yeah.
They had been a second half team most of the year.
By the way, South Texas Deer Slayer says the University of Virginia is a 2-loss team that hasn't beaten anyone.
Okay.
Which some people have A&M playing them.
Well, if they beat Duke, doesn't matter. Right. And if they lose to Duke, they're not going to get in at 9-3. What I find interesting is what's going to happen with Miami. That's what I find interesting. What if Duke win? Is the ACC going to get completely shut out?
I can't see that happening. I can't see a world where Miami goes 10-2 and they're not in the playoffs.
Can you see a world where Notre Dame goes 10-2 and doesn't get in the playoffs?
No.
And I understand that. I think everything should be decided on the field. And I always say that if all things are equal, if the win-loss records are equal, then the team then head-to-head should matter.
Yeah.
And now some people are going to say, yeah, but what about one team playing a more difficult schedule? And that's true, and that's what Greg Sankey talks about. But in this instance, when you're talking about Miami or you're talking about Notre Dame, that's not an issue because Miami plays half of its games against
Florida.
the ACC.
Well, and in Florida.
But they have a deal with the ACC.
Yeah.
They've had a deal with the ACC. I don't have their schedule right off the top of my head, but I bet you Notre Dame's. Okay, here we go. Miami. All right. NC State. There's 2. Boston College 3,
Syracuse.
Pitt 4, Syracuse 5, Stanford 6.
Mm-hmm.
So half of their schedule, I have to remind myself that Stanford's an ACC team.
Right.
Half of their schedule's against the ACC. So how do you look at Notre Dame and Miami if they're both 10-2, and Notre Dame haven't beaten Miami? I know it was first game of the year and all those things, but they're 10-2. The schedule's very similar.
Yep.
How do you, with clear conscience, say that Notre Dame deserves to get in over Miami?
Can't.
If you got Hunter Yurachek in charge, you can. You know, the guy who hired Chad Morris to be because he thought he's a great football coach.
Well, look,
Sam Pittman.
The bottom line is
Steve Silverfield.
They're going to get it wrong this year. They're going to, right? There's going to be a team.
I've never seen a year where I thought the committee was more incompetent than this year.
Even 2020?
2020, I know what they were doing. That was corrupt. To me, there's a difference between corruption and just incompetence.
Yeah. Hey, we're TexAgs Live.
We are TexAgs Live.
We are presented by, tell me?
We're David Gardner Jewelers.
And we're where?
We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
This hour, we've labeled it. We gave it a name.
It's the Go Hour, brought to you by The Warehouse at CC Creations.
And we're typically hanging out over there.
It travels, though, the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
The cool zone is a zone, right? And the zone, you can move zones.
It's like Margaritaville. It's a state of mind.
Yeah.
It goes wherever you go. If you're in the state of mind, it's the cool zone.
You're a big Jimmy Buffett guy, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Big parrot head.
Yeah. And if you want to call the show, you can do it on the
Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
No chance you know the number.
979-693-1150.
We go around the room, left to right, say hi to the people behind the glasses. Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. Just want to remind y'all, like you said, David, we were talking pre-show, and you're like, there's not much to talk about this whole week. Tomorrow's early signing day, the first day of the 3-day early signing period. TexAgs Live has got you covered wall to wall. We got our signing day show tomorrow, and we'll do an afternoon portion, kind of replaces the B team, or is an extension of the B team recruiting edition. So make sure you tune in. David, I know you got a better idea of who the guests will be and whatnot, but Billy, Bronny, Jason Howe will all be here to break it all down. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Signing day special.
Jamie McCoy, 8 o'clock hour, will join us. I do know that Brandon Leone in the 9 o'clock hour, working on a 10 o'clock hour guest. We're going to have a bunch of the signees calling in on the show as well. So 2, 3, 4 of those guys should be calling in during the show. We'll have other guests popping on. And I do want to clarify Nick's comment about me.
Okay.
Right? Because I don't want people to get mad where Nick said, there's nothing to talk about. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that wasn't a shot.
No, I know, but some people will take it as a shot. There's a lot to talk about, but it's not. The topics aren't as fun right now because there's a lot weighing on what happened on Friday. And then as we look ahead, we don't know who to look ahead to.
Right.
So we're going to look ahead, and maybe it's Virginia. Maybe it's Notre Dame again. Maybe it's Oklahoma. We don't know who the hell they're going to play.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident it won't be Oklahoma. I could see it being Notre Dame, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be Virginia or Tulane or North Texas.
Yeah.
I believe A&M will be no worse than 6. Now, I may be completely fooling myself, but I think they're going to be no worse than 6.
If they are 6, it would probably
Could be 7, but I can see that argument, but I don't think so.
7
Then you might find Notre Dame
or Alabama
or Miami.
or Miami. Yeah. Yeah, I prefer 4, 5, 6. That's what I prefer. But remember, there are going to be some teams that lose that things could shake up. Now, I don't know if losing your conference championship will shake things up too much. What I am curious about is how much do they ding Ole Miss? And I don't think they should ding them that much.
I don't think they should ding them at all.
And if we're talking about head coaches leaving, and I know James Madison is, kind of on the border, their coach accepted the UCLA job, I believe, yesterday. So
Is he
are
still
they going to
coaching
get
them?
dinged?
Is he going to coach them in the
I
playoffs?
think
though?
so.
Okay,
I
well, if
can
he
confirm that, but yeah.
And Summerall's still coaching Tulane,
Yeah, he's
right?
going to still yeah. It's I find it really interesting. What will happen if BYU beats Texas Tech?
Do 2 Big 12 teams get in?
Maybe. Man, how much of a gut punch would that be for Texas Tech if they lost and then got left out?
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. I don't know.
Yeah, so Bob Chesney is the coach at James Madison. He's expected to coach through the playoff if they make it, so I guess they won't be penalized for that.
Yeah. That is, I think when you decide to leave, I don't know if you know this.
I don't.
I bet you do, though.
Okay.
Historically, and I had to go back, but historically, Ole Miss was LSU's primary rival.
Mm-hmm.
Old people, that's a big game for them. So for Kiffin to leave to go to LSU is very much like a Schlossnagle thing. Plus, he was like Schlossnagle was giving them every reason. I found happiness here, and all this stuff. So, how do you feel about Ole Miss saying, "No, we don't need you here"?
I don't mind it at all. All right, well, look, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. In this world of
I don't think you and I did.
Oh, sorry. In the world of the transfer portal, I just don't know if you want that in your building. I don't.
Yeah, because Lane Kiffin has a history, and it's of leaving Tennessee and trying to get players that were committed to Tennessee to uncommit and go.
Correct.
So you want that guy around your program at signing day.
I just don't understand.
What I don't get, here's what my problem with Lane Kiffin, all that. Look, you can do whatever you want. But he said, I wanted to stay and coach because that team means so much to me. I wanted to stay. And they won't let me. Okay. If it meant that much to you, then why do you tell your offensive staff, hey, you have to come with me now? Because you could say, yeah, but I really wanted to stay for this team, for these guys.
So I'm going to leave my staff.
But I'm going to leave my staff so they can coach them.
Yeah.
No.
But then in that case, I don't know if Ole Miss wants, if those guys are planning on going with LSU, he may tell them you can leave too.
Well, and somebody say, well, what's the difference? I'll say, here's the difference. When you're an assistant, is Pete Golding automatically going to retain those guys? No.
No.
So I got to have a job. You know, I'm an assistant. I don't have the same kind of offer that the coach. So a lot of times you do go, but again, if Lane Kiffin really cared that much about it, he would have said, "Hey, look, you guys, I'm going, but you guys stay."
Well, and in the next segment, I want to talk to you about that because, like, how do you, the excuse given is the college football calendar and how you fix the calendar because when does he take the job? There's no real good time to take the job. So let's discuss that on the other side. Check in with McKinley Polansky at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We got some basketball tonight?
Yes, we do. The Texas A&M men's basketball team is staying on the road this week and is taking on Pitt at the Peterson Event Center today at 6 p.m. for the ACC-SEC Challenge. The Aggies just defeated Florida State last Friday, 95-59.
That was awesome. We didn't really get to watch it. We were following the stats. It was nice to see. Like when the league got to only 26 at one point, like, ooh, a little run.
Pitt most recently beat Ohio State with a three-pointer at the buzzer.
Oh, good stuff. What else?
Yeah. Aggie volleyball is remaining at number 6 in the national poll heading into the NCAA tournament. The Aggie volleyball team is the number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament and was selected to host the opening 2 rounds. The Aggies open tournament play on Friday versus Campbell at Reed Arena with the first serve set for 6:30 p.m. You can support and watch Texas A&M's opening round matchups live at Reed Arena or on ESPN+, and it is free tickets for students. Pack Reed.
Hey, Polansky, what's the Campbell mascot?
Tigers.
He'll tell you, can you make a noise?
I don't think I can make it.
I don't know how
they make it almost like a cow. They sound like like that. You know, they make a real high pitch. Like a.
Can we get a close up on that? Look at the camera.
Wait, so what's the mascot?
They should be good on Wednesday. You don't want to play them on Wednesday. You know why?
Why?
Wednesday's hump day.
Camel.
Interesting.
The Campbell Camels.
Let's turn that into a meme or whatever. What is that? That's not what a camel sounds like.
The camel they make.
Nick, can you find the sound of a camel?
Maybe I'm a little bit too high pitched for the camel.
All right, in the next segment, we'll try to find a sound of a camel. All right, because one thing I know, you don't.
It's not like
you don't eat.
It's more deeper than I was.
I don't think you can eat camel at 1775 OB.
Oh no, but you know what? If you could, I bet you they can make it taste good.
Yeah, that's
because what? There. But I've never had a camel, raw or to eat or to smoke. But if you want to take smoked beef and turn it into something amazing, 1775 is the place to go. I mean, they could probably do amazing things over there with a camel, but.
Hopefully they don't, though.
What they do with cows and pigs and turkeys.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you know that succulent brisket, so soft and tender, moist. They got what I love, the jalapeno cheese sausage.
I love that too.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's
good.
amazing.
Yep.
Pork ribs. I love pork ribs.
Yep.
I know you love turkey. I like the turkey too, but I'm just, I'm more accepting of my heavier self than David is. So David watches the calories more, so he'll get the turkey. But you know what? He'll take on those calories from the queso mac and cheese because it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it.
It is worth it. And so is the drive out there. It's not far.
It's not far. It's just a couple of miles going, not into Snook, towards
Snook.
Yeah.
They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. 1775 txbbq.com.
It's good.
Mm. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but if you could, give me your reenactment of a camel, and then we're going to compare it to what a camel really sounds like.
I needed to be more guttural. Guttural, is that how you say it?
Sure.
I was too, it's more like like that.
One more time.
It's kind of like what.
Hey, if you could look at that camera right there and do it, please.
Right there? That one?
Yeah.
That's my camel.
All right, Nick. Let that off.
Sounds like I just got finished eating something.
Yeah. A little bit more of a frog sound in the camel than I expected.
Yeah, there is.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that was too high pitched first.
Yeah.
It's more guttural.
Well, we're doing this as a public service to our audience, so you can know what a camel sounds like.
So when you want to, if you're coming into town, and let's say Campbell is not playing the Aggies, which I think they probably are, but if you are inclined to support the Camels, then you know
what
the noise to make.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I wonder if they do anything like Arkansas, with the pig suey and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe they go,
Yeah, maybe. How do we fix the college football calendar, Obi? Because one of the I was talking on No Layups with Raheel yesterday, and look, I don't think it's a good look. Doesn't matter what I think, right? If Lane Kiffin can go to bed thinking like, I don't care, this is a decision I wanted to make. It's my decision. I wanted to go to LSU. Damn what you think. It doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. So we're in America. We can do whatever we want. I think I sometimes care what the feelings of the people I left, right? So when would be a good time for him to take the LSU job?
Yeah, I don't know. What you could do though is be more honest about it, right? He was giving Ole Miss fans every reason to think he would stay. But about some of the things we just talked about.
But hold on, if you're and I'm only playing devil's advocate.
I know.
Okay? You work at Yahoo, okay, and another company is courting you, and you tell the folks that work at Yahoo, no, I'm very happy because you don't know.
You know what? When I work at Yahoo, right? Well,
you actually did work.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we should.
Let's use a different company. Let's use
X.
If
I work there,
and then Facebook calls you.
But when I said X, I didn't mean. I just mean.
I'm kidding.
But if I work there, here's the difference. I don't spend all my time. Not all my time. I don't spend a lot of time going to my customers and saying, "Hey, I need you to fund." It's not enough that I'm getting paid all this, but on top of what I'm getting paid, I have a team that I have to hire to, and I need you to contribute out of your pocket to help me fund my team. So I show your loyalty to my program. I need your loyalty. I don't have to be loyal, but I need your loyalty.
So when Billy Gillispie left for Kentucky, this is an example Billy brought up on the show, I think, yesterday. I didn't want him to leave because I didn't think it was the right fit. But I was like, Kentucky calls, you take that job, right? I feel like it's one of those jobs that you take if you get the call.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Now, I'm going to, people love when I do real life situations. I was in a situation where ESPN called me in 2013 for an interview. I didn't get the job, folks. But I remember thinking to myself, I don't know if I want the job because I don't know if I want to move, okay? Mm-hmm. But when ESPN calls, at that time at least, you listened. When LSU calls, you listen, right? It's one of those kind of jobs?
Yeah, you listen, but in your case, I mean, I don't know, but in a normal person's case, a raise of $20,000 makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. When I left, I thought I'd never leave the Austin American-Statesman. I got a call. They offered me a job at Rivals with a 20% raise over what I was making in Austin. And I said, no, it's not enough to ask my family to relocate, but thank you. 3 days later, they called and offered me a 50% raise over what I was making in Austin. Well,
you have to kind of take that,
right? But if you're making, what is it, $7-8 million at Ole Miss, and LSU calls to offer you $13 million, and then Ole Miss says, "Okay, we'll match it."
But the resources at LSU, I don't know if that's really the case.
Look, here's the deal: Lane Kiffin does not have to explain to anybody why he wants to go to LSU. He may like gumbo, and they got better gumbo in Baton Rouge than they have in Oxford. Okay. It is America, and at least for now, we're still free to make decisions, But there's a way to do things. And, the whole thing that, again, where he was giving people at Ole Miss a reason to believe that he was staying. And I do think it's just kind of weird when you spend a whole lot of your time at a place asking, hey, I need money from you. Not just what you're paying me, but I need money for you. I need your loyalty. Coaches in general, not just Lane Kiffin, coaching may be the most hypocritical, especially college football coach. I'll probably get in trouble with some people. It may be the most hypocritical profession there is, next to politician, because coaches are always talking about, I need loyalty, I need accountability, and they're the least loyal and they'll be the least accountable. coaches hate it when someone questions them about holding them accountable. And they always want to be stressed to their players to be loyal this and loyal that, and their fans loyal, but they never think twice about giving that same loyalty back.
You know who I know is loyal?
Well, I kind of feel like Mike Elko is. Since he's
No, but I was going to say in this studio, we're both very loyal to our brands.
I am, yeah.
1775 is where you get your barbecue. Duck Camp's where you wear your hoodies.
Yeah, I like that. I like Duck Camp.
Yeah, I like it too.
In fact, I got my Duck Camp.
That's why, yeah.
I got my Duck Camp.
I wanted the people to know about that. Like, I wore Duck Camp this morning on my run. I love wearing Duck Camp. If you like going outdoors, if you don't like to be indoors all the time, right? Who wants to be look at it on a wall? Who does that? Loser, right? Go out and enjoy the trees and camels and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Camels. Like go and you should do it in some Duck Camp gear: the hats, the hoodies, the lightweight, the brush pants, you name it. They have it all.
I like that Hinckley shirt. Is that Henley? The Henley shirt. Hinckley.
Don Henley.
I'm not going to shoot the president.
Yeah, please don't.
No, that's Hinckley.
He said not.
I said not.
If OB ends up in prison later.
It's a Henley. It's a Duck Camp Henley.
Did you add a G to it? Hingley?
I think I said Hinckley, like,
Anyway, the Henley, the Penley, whatever you want to call it, duckcamp.com, built for the outdoors, designed for everything else. 25% off when you write the code TexAgs25. It's Duck Camp. Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com. And we are back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go to the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We are joined by Charean Williams of Pro Football Talk here on the program, the Aggie Hall of Famer, our dear friend. Charean, good morning.
Good morning. How are we doing today?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Hanging in there.
Well, look, I said it at the top of the show. It's weird because, like, there's so much to be excited about. We're, here in a few hours, we'll find out where A&M is seated when it comes to maybe their playoff future. Obviously, there's still some conference championship games to get through. But, like, I'm in a weird spot where I'm looking back at the Texas game and having a hard time looking ahead. Where are you with that, Charean?
I am. And, in the long run, it's probably the best thing that could have happened, but none of us, no Aggie wanted to lose to Texas. That's for sure. You want those bragging rights. But you look back at what Ohio State did last year. They lost to Michigan in the last game and turned around and won the national championship. And so you still have everything in front of you. And our day is going to be when the playoffs come out and A&M and Oklahoma, who Texas beat, are in the, college football playoff, and Texas is left at home. I would rather be in A&M's position than Texas' position right now, and I think that's how you have to look at it. Who would you rather be right now? Would you rather be Texas and have bragging rights over A&M? Would you rather be A&M and still has a chance to win a national championship? Because I don't think Texas is getting in. So that's where we are. And if you look at it like that, it's you feel better about where they are and what happened. But there are definite concerns after that game. There's no question.
Well, Charean, you are a savant in football at all levels. And we do have Longhorns that listen to our show because they were all on just the other day. So I'm sure they want to know, why would you leave Texas out?
Well, you got 3 losses. First of all, we all know it was against Florida, and, you lost by 25 to Georgia. So I just don't see a path for them when you start looking at teams who are going to get those bottom spots. I don't think they're the team that's going to get in. Now, it's going to be interesting what they do with Ole Miss. You just never know, because you look at what they did to Florida State a couple years ago, and your immediate thought is they're going to make, and it's expanded now, but they're going to make Ole Miss pay for not having their head coach, not having most of their offensive staff, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think they should. I hope they don't. Ole Miss has earned this, regardless of what has happened since. But I do have that thought of, are they going to keep Ole Miss out because of this? And I sure hope they don't.
Talking to Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live. Charean, what do you think is the biggest hurdle for A&M, just from a football team perspective? Is it stopping the big run? Is it what do you think to you jumps out as like, this could cost this team a chance at moving on to the playoffs or even a championship?
Yeah, it's stopping the run. Haven't been able to do it consistently all season, and I think it reared its ugly head against a team that's had difficulty running the ball all season. In Texas, it was their best rushing game of the year, their first 100-yard rusher, and he didn't just get 100 yards. He got well over 100 yards, almost 150 yards. So, if you can't stop the run, you're not going to win many games. And I think a lot of teams that A&M played got impatient, like coaches tend to do, and didn't stick with the run. And if they had, maybe they would have beaten A&M, but they didn't. They went to the pass, and that's where A&M excels, and that's where they're best on defense. If they don't stop the run, it's going to be over really, really quickly in the college football playoff. They're not going to last very long, so they've got to figure that out. They've had all year to figure it out. It's kind of concerning that it's not figured out at this point.
Yeah, they're usually pretty good for about 5 or 6, 7 plays, and then they give up the big play. And but Charean, the other one, and I know you'll agree with this. I know David and I've talked about it, that if not the run, then it's going to be the kicking game, because you get in these close games, a lot of times they're going to be decided by a field goal. And quite frankly, I think we all hold our breath when A&M goes out to kick a field goal.
I go out, I hold my breath anytime A&M's on special teams, period, end of story. If the kickoff doesn't go in the end zone, I hold my breath that they're going to make the tackle before he goes all the way or gets to 50 or whatever. I hold my breath when we're punting because we've seen too many blocked punts. It's other than punt returns, there is nothing in special teams that A&M has been good at this season. Nothing. And you're right, the kicking game is awful. and you have no faith in either of those kickers right now to even make a short field goal, to even make an extra point. I mean, I'll hold my breath on extra points. And those should be chip shots. And we've just seen it too much this year. So A&M definitely needs to address that in the offseason, go find a kicker in the portal who you can count on. I mean, kickers should be not missing inside 50 yards. And these kickers, they might miss from anywhere on the field. We've seen missed extra points this year. So it's a problem. It's a big problem. You think about the missed field goal the other day. If they had made that field goal, maybe you feel better about the score and things are a little different at points of the game. If you're up 13-3 at the half and come out, I don't know. And I'll say this. I want to make this point, too. I'll tell you the biggest play of the game. You get the ball, you're up 10-3, you get the ball to start the second half, you go 3 and out. Okay. They go down and score, kick a field goal, you're still up. You have 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
3rd and 2, and you try to throw a bomb on 3rd and 2, and it takes – I can't tell people what a low percentage play that is. Everyone loves the bomb. It is a low percentage play, and that's not a play you should be doing. And I don't know if it was play call or if it's a decision-making, but whatever it was, to me, that's the game right there. Then they go down, take the lead, and it's over. A&M never gets back in it, never gets the momentum back. But you had to do something, and you knew it on that drive. And 3rd and 2, you try to throw a long pass.
Yeah, when they've been running successfully. We talked about that right after it happened.
Yeah.
We were looking at each other and saying, what are they thinking here? But, oh, well.
Charean, how far do you think the Aggies drop in the rankings? And do you think, 5, 6, 7? Where do you think they're going to be?
Yeah, I think around 6 probably is where they will fall and where they probably should be, after that loss. Everybody, the problem with it wasn't a Saturday game where, everybody else is playing and writers are covering games and, people are doing other things. Like, everybody saw that game. And they saw in the second half how A&M was dominated. And they were. And it truly was not close in the second half. So they're going to look at that and make a thing. If it had been, a 3-point game, come down to the end, you got a chance to win it, I think you feel a little differently about that game. On the outside, if you're looking at A&M and you go, I had a chance to win that game, so, 4 or 5, is about right. But with the way they lost and everybody watching that, I think it's in that 6-7 range probably.
Well, I think there's a big difference between 6 and 7 in terms of, who you might play.
Right.
I personally think they should be 6 because I think they're still better than Ole Miss, their resume. Who's Ole Miss's best win? Oklahoma?
Yeah. Well, and I do think they're going to punish Ole Miss in some way. I don't think Ole Miss is going to be as high as they would have otherwise been. I do think they end up getting in, and there will be a loud outroar if they don't get in, and maybe some changes, to things if Ole Miss doesn't get in. And I do think they get in, but I think they penalize them. I think they're going to be lower than what they probably should be.
Charean,
that would be 7.
Charean, we got about 45 seconds here. Just are the Texans going to get into the playoffs?
Or the Cowboys?
Or the Cowboys. There you go. Let's double it up.
Well, the Cowboys, they still got a long way to go, and things didn't go their way on Sunday with the Panthers winning and some other things that happened with teams winning that they really needed to lose. Their best route is to win the division. They're 2 games out of that, and I think they have a chance. They're going to have to win out or come close to it. They got 1 loss maybe in there, and if they do that, they got a chance. Texans, I don't know what to think of them. They're playing awfully well right now, 4 in a row, and that defense is legit. If they can just do enough offensively, then I think they have a chance. They're back in the division race as well, but they got to climb over 2 teams instead of 1.
Charean, great stuff. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
That's the great Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
I know Oklahoma is rated, I think, 8 in the last poll, and Notre Dame was 9.
Yeah.
If those 2 teams played, who do you think would win?
Notre Dame.
I do too.
Yeah. To family-owned agencies dialed into TexAgs, Rollo Insurance Group is doing amazing work helping small agencies keep up with the slow-motion corporate takeover for the insurance industry. Tech markets, education, and succession planning are big challenges. So if you go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, you can listen to Keith and Jackson's in-here studio just a few months ago. And at Rollo Insurance, Aggies are doing all kinds of great work to help out other Aggies. Remember, they are the insurance provider that I use here, and they've been with TexAgs Live from day one of this show. So make sure you check them out, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO. Go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals that make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them, 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That is at 10:50. Right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. OB, let's just play a game. We got a minute. Pretend game, okay? Let's pretend Michigan moves on from Charean, okay? More. Because I saw this on the boards, like there's a rumor out there, okay? And they call Kalen DeBoer. And Kalen DeBoer says, you know what, this Alabama thing ain't for me. I'm going to Michigan, where I can win just as big at Michigan. He goes to Michigan. Again, this is crazy theory. What happens then? Does Lane Kiffin say, LSU, I really like this place, but that's my gig over there? Is it too late for that? What happens?
It's never too late for Lane.
Or the Sark consider it?
You know, maybe. I don't. He seems to be
happy
at Texas. But Lane is the guy that has a history of, when he left Tennessee, he left at that time you didn't leave just before signing day.
Right.
And then We just talked about 2 other coaches that are leaving, but they're going to be coaching their team. I understand them leaving those programs, but a lot of coaches in the past wouldn't accept another job.
Yeah.
Because I've got this. We were thinking, hey, hopefully A&M has a long run, and so Elko wouldn't consider leaving.
Yep. Like Cole Kubik said, finish your reps, every rep, and finish your season. Thank you, OB. When we come back, JP, Josh Pate. Hopefully, the future commissioner of college football is going to be joining us here on the program in a second. We're looking forward to talking to Josh Pate, presented to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors for the most festive gear of the year. That is back at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Don't miss the limited edition Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. You can also get exclusive 2025 gear and gifts for all of your holiday parties, fun family photos, and Christmas morning traditions. And check out the entire collection from matching PJs to holiday print fishing shirts and dresses to exclusive new mossy oak, snowdrift camo styles, and much, much more. Shop in-store at academy.com. And if you need it fast, get same-day delivery powered by DoorDash. Let the holiday fun begin with the Magellan Outdoor Christmas Market Collection only at Academy. With that, Buppy's Catering Bartending Hotline, Josh Pate. What up, brother?
You see the fan up there, David. I turn it off right before I turn the computer on every week. And the whole game is, can I get it to completely stop by the time you say hello? And today, I almost won, but that means I lost.
Well, I felt like A&M almost won if we were talking about the first half, but that was not a good second half. Josh, what's your big takeaway from that one?
All right. We started talking on this show. Well, I started talking with you on the show about a month ago about the thinner air in November, how different it is if you're, like a legit playoff championship contending team getting there for the first time. I don't expect to have this conversation about Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama. It's a compliment to have the conversation, but the conversation is there is a different way the game team seems to work. There's a different way the ball seems to bounce. Most importantly, there's a different way opposing teams play you in November when you develop the target on your back. So it's all a privilege. Like the pressure that you get in November by being a contender is a privilege. The whole question is, how are you going to handle it? So the A&M bag has been a mixed bag. I don't just put the Texas game in this bag. I put the South Carolina game in this bag. But the Missouri game goes in this bag too. So there's some good, there's some bad. You didn't have to pay the price of a loss in the South Carolina game. You did have to pay the price of a loss here. The other part of it is everyone will make it about Texas A&M, Texas A&M, Texas A&M. The other team's allowed to try too, and Texas is pretty good. And you had to go play in their building, and they've been a way different team at home than on the road this year. So I guess my big takeaway was I didn't have a massive, gigantic takeaway, David. The one thing that I did say that shocked me was Texas outrushed A&M, because I didn't expect that. So I don't know. Outside of that, sure, I can pinpoint 10 missed opportunities, like I'm sure you guys can. But I look at it in the grand scheme of things. Now, what hurts is, like, you still don't get to go taste Atlanta. You still don't get to take your shot at the SEC championship piñata. So that's just going to have to remain on the table. But, I mean, Ohio State didn't do those things last year, and they won the whole thing. So I would imagine there's been a lot of parallel conversation between A&M's current existence and what Ohio State did last year. Because anyone who loses down the stretch, especially to a rival from now until eternity, will draw on Ohio State 2024. But the important thing to draw on is not what did they do. Why did they do it that way? It's because they properly harnessed a loss. To the degree that no one ever thought imaginable, but they properly harnessed a loss. In other words, they learned lessons and they changed things, not core principles, but they changed some externals, some things that orbit around the core principles. For them, that was fully utilizing their weaponry. For A&M, what will that be? That's kind of the open-ended question. I guess my biggest takeaway was a question, because you can't control that. So you can control the fact that someone's probably going to have to come to Kyle Field to play a playoff game, just like Tennessee had to go to Columbus, Ohio last year. And from bell one in that game, you realized there's no way this is the same team I watched lose to Michigan. Well, from bell one in a few weeks, when that ball gets kicked off against whoever it is on whatever day it is, by the end of the first quarter, by the end of the first half, if you find yourself saying, wow, this team feels like they were shot out of a cannon, that means the Texas loss wasn't the worst thing in the world because they got harnessed properly.
What do you say to those who are like, A&M's pretenders, they were overrated anyway, they haven't beaten anybody since Notre Dame, like, this is who they really are, a team that a real team can match up with and match their physicality and intensity?
Let them talk. Probably for the best. Let them talk. I would a whole lot rather a team that's never been here before listen to that for a few weeks than listen to everyone pat them on the back and tell them that they're the overwhelming favorite to do this or do that. None of that really matters in the grand scheme of things unless you make it matter. So that goes for praise and criticism. I wouldn't imagine Mike Elko has to worry about this for himself. I do think you always have to worry about it for your locker room and for your team, but I will go right back to what we were just talking about. Can you imagine the toxicity around Ohio State football after they lost to Michigan last year? I don't care what it's been like there. Respectfully, I don't care what it's been like there. There's no way it touches what it was like in Columbus, Ohio. That was like an existential crisis, burn the whole thing down. If we don't get what we think we deserve in this upcoming playoff game, wholesale changes are needed. I don't think anyone's going to say that at Texas A&M. You're mad. You should be mad because the value of rivalry games correlates with how hurtful they are when you lose them. But an outsider's perspective, have you ever cared what outsiders think about your game day traditions? Have you ever thought about what outsiders think about any other aspects of your program? In fact, the hallmark of A&M fans has been understanding outsiders' opinions are irrelevant when it comes to us. So why would you care what anyone else thinks about your potential to win a title? Your potential to win a title is directly tied to the performance of the team. None of them are playing. They're not even playing against A&M. So I really don't care about that. By the way, David, not that I share this opinion, I wouldn't care if I thought A&M was a pretender. And that's my own opinion. Like, I don't care. They're going to play the game. I'm wrong about games all the time. So who cares what anyone thinks?
You put it so eloquently, Josh. When we talk about A&M, are you more concerned with the defense giving up these gashing big runs against everybody, right? Or Marcel, in that game at least, throwing these turnovers, in the red zone basically? Because in a way, I look at the Texas game and I'm like, look, as bad as it was, they had opportunities in the red zone. If they can get some points, that game looks different.
I would say probably Marcel. Because I believe, especially with some time to work here, I think one of the things you'll see is I think you'll see the A&M ground game work at its max, whatever its max is, okay? I also feel that way about run defense. Whatever its best version of itself is, I expect them to get that. But there's a lot of moving parts there. So that is a collective effort. With quarterback, it's one guy. It is one guy. When it comes to decision making, it's one guy. And it's one split-second decision or a series of them or a collection of them that will really control 17-point swings in a football game. And you can work on that. You can study film. You can do all the neck up exercises, and that's great, and I'm sure they will. But it still comes down to a guy making a good decision and trusting his progress and his process in the heat of battle. That'll always concern me. David, that concerns me about good quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Like I always have in the back of my mind, boy, guy's played a good year. He's really put a lot of good reps on tape. But what if this championship game is that one game? Julian's saying, I cannot believe we're using Ohio State, Michigan again, but it applies here. If you were watching that game last Saturday, he's been good all year, hadn't thrown picks all year. First drive, back shoulder throw, third down. Michigan plays it perfectly, picked. You could go into a mental shell at that point. Now, he didn't. But the point is, he did something early in that game, in a big game, that you really hadn't seen him do all year. And so the fact that you hadn't seen him do it all year, all of a sudden is just irrelevant. And in your mind, you're terrified, and you're thinking, oh, man, this is going to be the day the rest of the season goes into a blender. Well, that's always how I feel. So if you have been prone to it, I'll especially feel that way until I don't.
Josh, here's a question you may not want to really answer. It's about you.
Oh, boy.
If you got a phone call and they said, hey, you know what? I know you've talked about being the commissioner of college football. We actually think you'd be perfect for the job. Would you take it?
I would take it if I could still do my show. Because my role as college football commissioner would not be me sitting in a room just making a bunch of decisions. My duty as college football commissioner would be to, first and foremost, admit I don't know what I don't know, and then to get the most talented people, not the ones with the most impressive resumes, mind you, the actual most talented, knowledgeable football people in the room to help make the decisions. In other words, delegating. So if you were to describe that as a coach, very much a CEO coach's approach, but also running an administration where people want to work for it, because you're attracting people that want to help the game. They want to give back to the game. I've always viewed that. I kind of joke around a little bit about the commissioner stuff, but I've always viewed the fact that we get paid to talk about a game that we love as crazy, just as a concept. That's crazy. So like football has given me so much. College football has given me so much that I would love to be able to give back to it, to serve its players, its coaches, whatever. The best way you do that is by making the best decisions for the sport overall, instead of for your personal interests or a conference's personal interest. No, you make the best decision for the sport overall. And look, even if you want to be selfish about that, even if you worked at a media corporation, your asset is only as valuable as the viewability of the asset. The asset is college football games, and a lot of people watch them, so they're worth a whole lot of money. So you pay a whole lot of money to broadcast them because advertisers pay a whole lot of money to have their brands associated with it. But that entire thing is all built on the variable of how many people are watching the games. So even if you want to be selfish about it, David, you got to maintain the pristine nature, the integrity of the product, or else people walk away. Not everyone, but you can't afford to lose 20% of your market share in college football. So I think that all works downstream, whether you're selfless or selfish towards it, as doing what's best for the sport. And that sounds so simple, a 5-year-old could say it. But we don't put it in practice. And even today, I mean, how many times have you heard over the past month or 2 months, boy, the college football calendar is a disaster? Well, of course it's a disaster. How many times have you seen a single face or group of faces in charge of the disaster? You don't know. No one even knows how to answer that question. That's a problem. You know, you get the thing solved by figuring out the root of the problem. The root of the problem is not having the right people in the room. So you get the right people in the room firstly, and then let them go to work.
So if you could fix the college football calendar, all right, because the whole lane thing, there's many directions you can go with it, but one of the arguments for it is like, when can he take the job? There's never a good time to take the job, and if he wants that job, he's got to take it. So how would you fix the calendar? Is there a fixable formula?
Yeah, you would have to completely reimagine the academic calendar, and you would have to designate athletes as different than normal students. Now, we all know that's the case, but no one wants to acknowledge that's the case from the academic calendar perspective. All right, so if you were to ever cross the Rubicon of admitting that student athletes are on campus for a different reason than a normal kid walking to class at 4:30 p.m. today, then you would be able to do what I would love to do with the calendar, and that is have National Signing Day right where it used to be, first week in February, have the portal shortly thereafter, before spring, after spring, whatever, but one portal window still. But notice both of those things are coming after the season ends. Both of those things. So I just took care of the entire circus that has been this coaching search. Like, did Lane handle this perfectly? No, not even remotely close. But whether, like, John Summerall handled it perfectly, he's still having to leave his team to go take a new job and then come back to maybe coach the playoffs. So whether you handled it perfectly or not, whether you were disrespectful or respectful about the process or not, you're still having to decide whether you want to take another job as your team's in the throes of a playoff run. So if we were to just be able to have the signing day in February and have the portal window maybe before that, maybe after that, the reason you can't do that right now is because of the academic calendar. And that's its own mess. Get the mess figured out. Just get the mess solved. I didn't say it would be easy. If it were easy, it would already have been done. But, I mean, the dumbest thing in the world is to continue to just look at the current state of affairs and say, well, we're stuck with it. Well, if someone says that, get them out of the room and get someone else in the room. It can't get worse. It can't get worse. That's the baseline opinion there, and just work off that. But I'd love to move both of those dates back.
Josh, let's close out with this. What's going to happen when the polls come out today, the college football rankings, and where's A&M going to be? You think they're 5, 6, 7? Do you think, is there even a shot at all at being top 4 when conference championship Sunday is over or Saturday?
I don't think top 4. I think 6 or 7. Is your guess 7, by the way? Is that like the working theory?
I think I had 6 because I think they should be ahead of Ole Miss, but I can also see a world where Ole Miss is ahead of them.
I think they'll be ahead of Ole Miss. I haven't done a deep dive on that. I'm more interested in the Alabama, Notre Dame, Alabama. I think they may put Bama above Notre Dame tonight. Just a sneaking suspicion, and looking at the odds market movement, which is very fishy. And I think that they would do that for 2 reasons. Number one, Bama should be above Notre Dame anyway. Number 2, I think that they're looking ahead to Selection Sunday, and I personally do not believe the final spot would come down to an Alabama or. I think it would come down to Notre Dame or. And we're talking about Brigham Young. So if the Big 12 has an upset in their title game, and it's BYU and Texas Tech that need a spot, I don't think it's Bama they're bumping out, David. I think it's Notre Dame they're bumping out. And if you look at the current odds market, the correlation between one making it and one not making it, the correlated odds are not Alabama and Brigham Young. The perfectly correlated odds are Notre Dame and Brigham Young. And so while everybody's focused over here of Miami, Notre Dame, you may want to take a look at Bama, Notre Dame tonight, because I think that would be a real good indicator of how they plan on handling a Selection Sunday issue if it arises, if you have an upset in the Big 12 championship game.
So Miami doesn't get in that thinking, right? And trying to think. And what happens with Virginia Duke?
Well, so let me firstly say, I think Miami should be in over Notre Dame. That's what I think.
I agree.
We're trying to forecast what the committee's going to do, and I'll have to see them put Miami over Notre Dame to believe it. But it's really kind of a joke that they're not already. With Virginia Duke, okay, if Duke wins this Saturday, there are two schools of thought out there. One school of thought is the committee will just bite their tongue and put Duke in, and I do not believe that. I do not believe that at all. I think if Duke wins Saturday, you are absolutely looking at two G5 teams in the playoff, which exposes yet another critical flaw in the entire procedure. But I think you'd have, think about that, by the way. If Duke wins Saturday, they're a 2.5-point dog, so that's not out of the realm of believability at all. If Duke were to win and Brigham Young were to win Saturday, you're looking at a playoff that is comprised of two G5s and two Big 12s. And I think most people would just look at that when the dust settled and say, wait, what are we doing right now? What are we doing?
Man, oh man. Well, I hope A&M gets 5 or 6 in that thinking. I don't want 7, but you got to win games regardless. So you're in the playoffs, you got to win games. Josh, we appreciate you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, appreciate it, David.
Later, man. Josh Pate there on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Hit a break. We'll come back. Joni Taylor join us. Talk a little Aggie women's basketball. Right now, if you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggieland, or you are already in Aggieland and need a great opportunity, the Association of Former Students is seeking to hire professionals to join their team. And it depends on what department you want, but sometimes they have openings in fundraising and sales and student programs and much, much more. They are the nation's alumni leader and the oldest organization supporting the Aggie Network. They play a part in every single Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Reading Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie Network. So if you are interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students.
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk some Aggie women's basketball. Fresh off a very successful week in Hawaii, the Aggies went 2-1 at that North Shore Showcase, and they had a tough 1-point loss, but looked really, really good. Let's go straight to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline, and we are joined by head coach Joni Taylor here on the program. Joni, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. So let's just kind of take a look at the whole week and then kind of work our way forward. How was that experience for the team, the success, everything you all had to battle through?
Sure. Well, we started by arriving a couple of days early. You don't want to be in Hawaii and not give those young ladies an opportunity to at least enjoy the island a little bit. For most of them, it was the first time coming. So we got there on Wednesday. They were able to have a little bit of fun Thursday, attended a luau on Friday, and then we got down to business. We played a really tough VCU team on Saturday and really followed the game plan really well. Was proud of just some things we did. Our players coming off the bench, how we navigated some really talented players they have. Came back on Monday and lost by 1 point, as you mentioned, to UTA Arlington. A disappointing loss, obviously. We just couldn't get the ball to bounce our way, and I honestly think we let our lack of making shots offensively affect us defensively a little bit. We just were never in sync. But probably what I'm most proud of is how we had to handle that disappointing loss on a Monday night and turn around on Tuesday and play a really, really good Colorado team. We came out and just stifled them defensively, got a comfortable lead. Obviously, they were a great team, so they made a run and came back. We were able to, in the fourth quarter, bow our back, make some big-time shots. We were able to get some freshmen in the game who haven't been able to play. So Anita Francini made her first appearance, and so did Talia Kavaka. She made her first appearance, too. And it was really nice to see them get some game experience. They've worked really hard to get caught up since they were late arriving to campus. And so really excited that we were able to put them in a game of that magnitude and be able to bounce back and win the tournament.
Talking to Joni Taylor here on TexAgs Live. Just from a travel perspective, like how was it grueling? Like leaving, I think you left at 3:30 in the morning or something like that. Like how was the actual travel part of it, the back and forth?
It was tedious. We left extremely early. Obviously, we were concerned about getting to the airport with security and TSA. We had no problems at all, but with the group, we traveled like almost 40, 45 people on that trip. And so just anytime you have a group that large, you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of time. Huge shout out to Meredith Mitchell, our Director of Business Operations, who from start to finish managed that trip really well, was in constant communication with people at the airport in Houston and also just with United Airlines. And then Christina Richardson, who is our Director of Special Projects, she actually drove over separate and got there earlier than us so that she could make sure we knew exactly where to go once we got to the airport. So both of them did a great job managing travel. Obviously, there's a 4-hour time difference. We made sure that we practiced early because our first game was going to be early, and so we tried as much as possible to acclimate them as soon as we arrived on the island. And so I thought we handled it as best we could.
Joni, you told me a couple of weeks ago that you felt that this team, even though they were a new team, was very tight. What does a trip like this do for an already tight team?
It allows them to experience new things together, create more bonds. We had moments to have some team bonding while we were there, so we had 2 sessions of team bonding while we were in Hawaii. And anytime you're able to do that and we had some free time those first couple of days for them to connect and go do some things. And so a lot of team-led meals, a lot of time just being able to share and enjoy each other. I think it just continues to make your bond even stronger, and it also gives you an opportunity to be with another teammate that maybe you haven't had a chance to spend as much time with and to get to know them better and find out new things about them.
So I know that you wanted for this to kind of ramp up for SEC play, for an NCAA tournament. Do you feel like this kind of setting helped get you ready for the long haul?
I think anytime you can play in a multi-team event, which is what we were able to do, it prepares you for postseason, whether that is SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament. We played 3 games in 4 days. And playing a back-to-back when you have 1 hour of prep time for a game of, again, like against another Autonomy 4 conference in Colorado, I think it teaches you how to mentally prepare. You know, I tell our team all the time, like there's physical reps and there are mental reps, and both of them are required in order to win. And so we definitely used our mental muscles and our mental reps to the best of our ability and got in and locked in and watched film. We had some challenges when we got there. We played at BYU Hawaii. The clock worked perfectly for every single one of our practice days. And then on game day, the clock didn't work. And so they literally had to go get like one of those camp clocks that you use for camp in the summer to run time. And the announcer, the PA announcer, was counting down the shot clock on the microphone. That's how we played our first game. I thought it was great. Anytime we can have some adversity, I love it, because that's when you build your toughness. That's when you build your resilience. It's when you figure things out. And so I actually was happy that happened, because I wanted to see how we would respond to it, and they didn't flinch. And so all of those things, all of those opportunities prepare us for not only conference play, but hopefully the NCAA tournament.
Joni, how about the defense in the Colorado game? It was tight, and the defense goes on this, what was it? Colorado didn't score for almost 7 points, and it just really was the difference in the game.
I was very impressed with our game plan and our ability to, with probably 10 minutes in a 1 hour practice, we talked about how we were going to defend Colorado. Probably even less than that when I really stop and think about it. We spent a ton of time that day in our shoot around working on some offensive things, because we knew that Colorado was going to trap us. We knew they were going to play a zone that traps. They're long, they're athletic. And so we spent a ton of our time preparing for that. And when we flipped to defense, we probably had about less than 5 minutes of when I really stop and think about it to give them the defensive game plan. So for them to go out and be locked in and execute it the way they did was very impressive. It was smothering at time. You could see the frustration in Colorado's face. We got several shot clock violations that game, and that just speaks to what we're capable of when we're locked in.
Joni, let's talk about Georgia Tech. What can you tell me about this matchup, and what do you expect to see from them? What some things about Georgia Tech that makes them an interesting matchup?
All right, so this is the ACC-SEC Challenge. Every year, the name of it changes, right? Last year it was the SEC-ACC Challenge, so we flip-flop who goes first every year. So this year it's the ACC-SEC Challenge. This is the third year we've had the challenge, and we are fortunate to be home playing Georgia Tech tomorrow night at 6:15. That is an earlier tip time than normal for us during the weekday. It's at 6:15. Georgia Tech is a team that is very athletic. They're big in all positions. They lead the SEC in rebounding, and they lead the SEC in bench points. And so they really want to score in transition. They use their defense to turn that into offensive opportunities, and they take their second chance points they get from offensive rebounds to really score. And so we've got to get back on defense, force them to play a half-court game. They're really good at slashing. They cut well without the basketball. So we've got to make sure that we protect the paint, force them into a tough shot, and then box them out and only give them one opportunity.
Joni, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Joni Taylor there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate her time here on the program. We will hit a break. We will come back with Jamie Morrison next on TexAgs Live. Right now, we're talking about Aggie Land Hydration and Injectables. They are Aggie owned and operated. They're a mobile IV hydration company. It's been around for a couple years now, and you got to meet the owners, Sheldon and Danny. They're fantastic. One thing they wanted to do was they wanted to make sure that folks here in town had the ability of what the big cities get, right? If you need these vitamins and minerals, there's no if. You need them. So when you need them, if you need them to come to you, they can do that. Because if you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or a dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And, you know, when you have a busy week, busy weekend, if you're just grinding, driving kids from here to there, you've got a lot of crazy stuff at work, you're into fitness, whatever it may be, getting the right necessary vitamins and minerals will make a huge difference in your life. You can call them or you can text them to find out about all their services, 979-217-1561. They do have IV hydration, they do have Botox, and they have weight loss options. It is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables, 979-217-1561. The wait is over. Find out who A&M volleyball is going to be playing here. First couple rounds of the NCAA Tournament. Reed Arena for the first time since 2019. Jamie Morrison here with us to talk all about it. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in this waiting game with how early the SEC tournament is now. And then all of a sudden you're sitting around, you got Thanksgiving, and it's kind of like twiddling your thumbs, and then you find out who you play on Sunday, and you go to work on scouting. So been some late nights, early mornings, but I think we're prepped for what's coming this weekend and what practice is going to be for the week.
It's funny you said that because I started the show with that with football. Like when you lose to a team, right, and you're in this waiting mode, like you don't know where to put your energy. Like for a talk show, like what am I talking about? Like we already lost, like, but I don't know who we're going to play. You now know who you're going to play, so you can focus.
No, so it was nice kind of to have that out of the way and be able to like literally leave our watch party and go straight to work on kind of figuring out how it is that we're going to beat these teams.
Did it play out the way you thought it would?
Yeah, somewhat. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with the metrics that we use to go choose seeds for the NCAA tournament, but I think they stayed true to that and they were consistent with that. So there were some things that played out, and like for example, Vanderbilt upsetting two teams in the SEC tournament and coming in and playing us didn't help our RPI.
Right.
But I was stoked. I think Anders has done a great job with that program, and I was happy he got the opportunity to go play in that. But that didn't help matters. It kind of like kept us down in the 10 range, and I
That's
think
so stupid.
It is. And I think the committee, I mean, they looked at us and we went a little bit higher than our RPI. So I think they looked at kind of what we did, but it was hard for them to move us much further. So that is what it is. And I've said this the entire time. You got to play whoever people put in front of you. So we're ready to go for what's coming this weekend.
How do you fix it, by the way? Like, you should not be penalized, especially in a tournament setting, right? Like who you play. Like it should be like only you can go up unless you lose.
No, and I'm pretty passionate about this, so we could spend the rest of the show on this. But just we have all these advanced metrics when it comes to things now, and we use this archaic system to go choose one of the most important things that happens. So, and again, like I think the committee did an amazing job with the criteria that they have in front of them that they have to go make decisions off of. I just think the criteria need to change over time. Like we have the ability to go look at some advanced metrics and look who the top, 10 teams are in the country. It's an easy thing to go dissect a little bit more, but we just need to put some work into that. And it's one of my pet projects on the side right now. I'm trying to make change. But again, we got who we got in front of us.
So last thing about that, because I'm interested in the topic. How do you go about change? Like there's not a person, right? Like
we're doing. It's all actually. I'm going to begin the mechanics of stuff now. I think there's a lot more respect for our sport right now than there has been. So we're actually getting a subcommittee within the NCAA that's in charge of kind of the rules and regulations and how we go about pushing our sport even further. And that's just starting this year. So we're going to be able to make change a little bit faster. Whereas before we were attached to a lot of other sports.
Sure.
So it was like I don't know. This sport does this. We have to go do this. And now we're going to be a little bit separate. Where it's hey, how do we push our game further? And I think this is one of the things that'll come up. I've been having conversations with the president of our coaches association of like why I think it's important that we get it right, and I think we're going to get some traction.
So 2019, the last time we got to host a volleyball NCAA tournament game here at Reed. So what does that mean to you to be a part of the everything with you? It's like it's been a long time since, and things are happening.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and I think some of it's vision of the program coming true, and that's why it's huge. And I said it at our watch party. It was a credit to all the people in the room, whether that be, people that have supported our program financially, our administration, our players, our staff, like everyone involved has helped us grow throughout the years. And it was awesome leading into that, being like, we're going to host. And it's not a what if, it's we're going to be in there somewhere and getting to play at least 2 matches here at home, which is huge. And I've said this over and over and over again, like our, fan base, the 12th man, has been a big reason why we've had the success that we've had. There's a huge energy around us playing at home, and we get fired up every single time we get to do it.
Can you, because I remember you were so impressed with the 12th man early on. Yeah. Can you feel a difference from where it was when it started to where it is now? You can actually feel it?
Yeah, and it's twofold. I think the sheer numbers is a piece of it. You can look at attendance, and that's grown. So it's just the amplitude of what it is. But I think the energy behind the people that are around it, whether it be conversations you have away from Reed Arena and people coming up and saying things and really being interested in the game and having some knowledge of what we're doing. Or the second piece is just the energy inside of Reed Arena. And I just think we have, and I can say it, like there's other fan bases that have the same numbers, but there's nothing like the 12th man and the energy that's being brought right now to our matches where people are on their feet constantly and there's noise constantly and they're trying to have an active role in the game, whether it be, pushing me to challenge something, or making noises while people are serving. Like they're making an impact on what we're doing.
Talk to me about Campbell.
They're a good volleyball team, and then I didn't really know the story of them, but I think they were like 6-23 last year.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
and turned the
turnaround.
program to 23-6 or something along those lines. So well coached. They're playing good volleyball. They kind of have a couple holes in serve receive that I think we can get after. Run a medium tempo offense, but have some good arms and some length. And I think that's the other thing that I noticed as I was kind of watching through that. So they'll present some challenges and then some stuff. And again, like the week will be themed a little bit towards kind of the three opponents that we're playing and things that we need to get better to beat all three. But obviously, they're the first challenge that we have in front of us.
One of the things you said at your presser on Sunday, which I thought was really smart, was like that this teams that win their conference, teams that are, like just because there may be a talent disparity, that doesn't mean there's a team disparity. That doesn't mean a chemistry disparity. That this team is coming here to win.
Yeah, and they can play volleyball. Again, you don't, I don't know, go throughout an entire season, have that many wins, be that consistent without being good at what you do. So they're good. And it's not, I don't know, it's something where we're looking ahead to that second round game. We got to beat them first.
Talk to me. I mean, I don't know how much you can get into the other opponents, but what you know about TCU and SFA?
Yeah, TCU, obviously we played earlier in the year, so I know a little bit there. They run a fast offense. It's slowed down a little bit since we played them back in whatever that was, September. But fast offense, they have an undersized outside hitter, kind of been the heart and soul of their team. Obviously not the only player. They got some other ones on there. And then the other piece, just as I was going through, they've been mixing up their lineup quite a bit. So just some variety of what we're going to see and being able to adjust, whether it be to what they start with or what they adjust to within that match is going to be huge.
What's the week look like for you all?
The practice from now on until the end. We'll get back into Reed after basketball gets out of there on Thursday and kind of get used to feeling what that feels like. And it's kind of a normal week. And I know it sounds weird to say considering the NCAA tournament, but girls have school. We're getting to the end of that. And again, I try to talk about the human side of this. Like finals are coming up at some point here in the near future.
When are our finals? Next week, McKinley?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, something like that. So like, again, that's one of the interesting things about this whole thing is like you're in the middle of being a human being in school in the middle of kind of the most important piece of your season. So trying to get ahead on that as much as we possibly can too. And then we'll have some different meetings and stuff that happen with hosting the NCAA tournament on Thursday, but getting to read on that day and play on Friday, play on Saturday. So, or hopefully play on Saturday, knock on wood.
NCAA tournament obviously is going to amp up the atmosphere, the energy. But I also think, and I know regionally the reasons they do it, but having a couple of Texas schools here, I think adds to it, doesn't it?
No, it adds. And I was asked about this on Sunday too, and just the volleyball in the state of Texas is growing exponentially, whether it be interest in it or the talent pool that's coming out of the youth and juniors level. And then there's, I think, a quarter of, not, that's probably an exaggeration, but of the top 25 is made up of schools from Texas. So it's really, I don't know, awesome to be able to host that, be a hub of that, and have hopefully people come from out of town and be able to watch some really good volleyball here over the weekend. So yeah.
Is it easy to put your head down and like just focus on Campbell and not think about ahead for players, athletes?
Yeah. Oh, I think you have to think about the weekend as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And especially this weekend, because you get into most SEC weekends, you get into the next two rounds of this, and the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, you get a day off in between to kind of prep for that next team. But in this instance, we play back-to-back Friday, Saturday, so
you have to prep for both.
And it's not fully like, hey, here's, I don't know, we're going to go over rotations for this team and do this. It's just, here's the common threads that we need to get better at this week in order to go beat this weekend's team. So that's how practice will kind of be themed as we get into here. So,
how's the energy from the players, like considering they've been sitting around waiting, they've been practicing. They're not sitting.
Yeah, not just sitting around waiting.
Right. But like waiting for an opponent, and now it's here, and now this is it.
Yeah.
Win or go home.
I'll let you know at, 5 o'clock today after we have practice, because they had the day off yesterday to kind of prep physically for this weekend. Again, get ahead on that school piece.
But you know this team, right? Like their mindset.
Yeah, I think they'll be fired up. I think they'll come in ready to do what needs to be done this week as we get into practice and we get into this weekend. And I think as soon as we got back to practice, it was kind of hang out, like sew up a few things within the team of like, hey, there's a couple things we need to get better at. But now it'll be like, all right, then we'll have a little video meeting of these are the things we need to get better at to beat these three teams this weekend, and then we'll get to work. So I have no doubt in my mind they're going to come in and put their head down and get going.
By the way, we got a pack read.
We do
all weekend long.
Also, just normally they charge for student tickets in this. I think we're going to send something out, but myself and the administration decided to step up and pay for all of those. So if any students are coming, student ID, North Entry, Friday, Saturday, we're taking care of you.
So everybody needs to go.
Yeah, everyone, pack read. I mean this, like one of the things I'm most excited about is like this, I don't know, atmosphere that's growing around what we're doing, the excitement that's growing. They get to witness NCAA volleyball. And it's a really cool thing. And I want to get as many people out to go see that, be a part of it, but also it helps us. So just encouraging people, please, pack, read, get out there.
Well, you are a reason for the growth. The sport is great when you get when you get to watch it and you see the high level. But I think you being a voice for it has really helped grow the sport right here in college.
I got to give credit to our players and staff too. They've been an amazing voice also.
Jamie, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Good luck. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll check in with McKinley. Right now, Heritage Films, all your families need a story done, right? If you've got a dad, a mom, you all have something, right? We should tell their story. If not, do you even care? You should be checking in on your parents, right? And telling their story. And Chance McClain does these documentaries that are fantastic. We did one for my dad. He's 95 years old. It was a 2-hour documentary. Chance brought his entire team to their house, lit it, asked the questions, and 2 months later, we had this 2-hour documentary that we got to watch as a family. My brother was there, his wife and kids, my kids, and it was very therapeutic for us to watch my dad's story, how he met my mom, how he escaped Cuba. The entire thing was fantastic. And he can do that for you. And Aggies love telling their stories. That's why Chance, advertises here on TexAgs, because he says Aggies are the #1 storytellers. They love telling their story, passing it on for the next generation. Call them up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or check out yourheritagefilm.com. That's yourheritagefilm.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio, believe it or not. I bet you'll believe it. Let's go to the angry elephant, News and Social Center, McKinley Polanski.
Hey.
Why is it so awkward when I say your name?
I don't know.
You're just like, hey.
We got a text message from Chris in Frisco. Said, who are we rooting for on champion weekend? Any losses that will benefit us?
If Georgia loses, that could hurt us, I think. I have to give this some good thought, but I feel like, actually, they both, like, you don't want Alabama to maybe pass you, not that they should. I think I'm going to go with Georgia, right? Because if Georgia wins, they'll probably, especially if there's a convincing win, they'll move to the 2 seed, I believe, because the loser of Ohio State, Indiana should drop a little bit, right? So I'm a believer that you want Georgia to win. Alabama then should not pass you in that scenario, right? And if they're in front of you today, which I would find ridiculous.
Right, agreed.
But yeah, I would think we want Georgia to win. Nick, are you on the same page as me?
Yeah, I don't want it. You don't want it getting even more muddy in the, the 5 to 7 range. That's where A&M's going to live. So, yeah, I think, again, you want Georgia to win. You're right. I think they move up to the 2. Winner of Ohio State, Indiana is 1. The loser's probably 3. They're going to move Tech up to 4 if they win their championship. So there's your top 4 seeds. BYU would be out. And then 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where we see what A&M. Does a 10-3 Alabama get in? You think?
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to hold the conference championship loss.
Yeah. Okay, I agree there.
I don't think they'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this comment from Rand Brand. I didn't mean it to sound like rude. Rand Brand. Sorry.
Rand Brand.
Yeah, I said it like I was mad at him. Like Rand Brand. Raisin Brand. No, he says, Josh didn't go where David thought he would with the college football commissioner question. I asked Josh, hey, would you really take that gig? The only part that I didn't know where he'd go. I didn't know if he really wanted to do it. Like, sometimes it's like a shtick that we do. Like, what's my shtick? Next year, Nuño, which I haven't been this year at all, right? Somebody tweeted at me like something with the F word and next year, Nuño, whatever. Like, I haven't even done that this year. I'm still this year, bro.
Yeah, I haven't heard that this
year. They said F next year, Nuño? That's not nice.
Yeah, like, why be so rude, bro? Like, you don't have to like, you don't. Obviously, you watch the show if you call me next year, Nuño, right? That's not like what a casual would know, right?
Right.
Oh, a casual wouldn't be like, oh, that's next year Nuño, right? A casual would be like, who's this guy who thinks he can fight everybody? Which I don't. I'm all about, turning my, you hit me, whatever. You know what I'm getting at. But I didn't know where Josh was going to go at all because sometimes when I ask questions, I don't expect like what, I didn't envision how he'd answer that question. I was surprised that he said only if they allowed him to keep doing the show, right?
Right.
And I don't see a world where that would happen, but I really respect that, right? I really respect the fact that he would want to like do the show and still be the commissioner of college football. So that's the only part I didn't know where he'd go. When he started breaking down what he would do and like that, I didn't even know. I was just curious. Right? Like when I say I'm Mr. Country Music, it's because I am Mr. Country Music. There's no shtick there, right?
Right.
When I say I go to the meetings, I go to the freaking meetings. I lead the meetings.
Yeah.
Thank you for agreeing. I appreciate it.
What else to say to that?
All right. I know. Sometimes sometimes people will tell me something. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah. What do you
Would
want me
you
to
do
say?
it, David? Would you be college football commissioner?
Yeah. Ooh.
If you want me to ruin it, sure. Yeah, I'd do it if they are. I mean, can I still get my,
Quickly, what would be like the one thing you would change immediately? Like dictate or snap your fingers, change.
I probably shouldn't say it on the air.
Okay, I'll go.
I'll go back to 2021 and I'll keep my conferences the way they were.
Sure. First 2 rounds of the playoffs on campus.
Nick Savage, the vice deputy commissioner under the commissioner. We'll be back with Jordan Pugh. He'd probably have an opinion. Next. We're back. TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Why am I talking like a robot? We're back. TexAgs Live. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. More like a parrot. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. This guy doesn't talk like a parrot. This guy talks like a coach, talks like a player. And I mean that with an ER, not an A. We go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jordan Pugh joining us to keep it real. What's up, man? 1 second, Jordan. I don't hear you. I don't know if it's us or you. Nick is working on it. We may have to do the old rebootaroo, but we'll get to you here in a second. Jordan,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. There we go. We fixed
All right, there we go. We rocking. How you doing, man?
Real answer or fake answer?
Hey, man, they only want the real one now.
The real one is my kids are healthy.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids in varsity sports in high school. I got so life is good. I'm still pissed off about what happened on Friday.
Yeah. A little disappointed. I can't lie about that. Look, if you would have told me that we're only going to give up 179 yards passing, I would have said we easily win this football game.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, if you tell me that we allow them to get their first 100-yard rusher and they rush for 155 yards on us, I would say that's not the A&M defense that I know. Okay, when I look at this game, I think this is a game of 2 halves. The first half, I thought that we were in control. I thought the offense was out of rhythm all night. It just seemed like we couldn't get our flow. It didn't seem like we were as aggressive as we wanted to be. I think Marcel's injury kind of played a factor in that. That's not an excuse, though. I just think that's just what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, I thought Texas did in the second half what we normally do to our opponents in the second half. That's what I thought. To give them credit, they controlled the line of scrimmage, okay? I thought that we never got into rhythm because of what their D-line did. So what we talked about last week, I thought that their advantage when it came to a skill group or a position group was that defensive line, and I thought that they took advantage of us offensively. But I don't think it was anything where we couldn't overcome that. We just didn't make the plays necessary. When you look at us defensively, that was the first time in a long time I've seen a lot of the breakdowns, right? So when you look at the first touchdown that Arch threw, okay, to Wingo, you looking at a defensive bust. It was nothing that they did offensively. It was just we let a man run free. When you look at the initial drive coming out of the second half, and you look at that big play that they had with the tight end, they got all the way down to the goal line. You're looking at a coverage bust, letting him run wide open. There were 3 or 4 times within the second half, in particular the third quarter, where we just had flat out coverage bust. So everybody is all hype about Arch's QB play and all that right now. But it was a lot of what we did overall as a defense, not doing what we were supposed to do. Now, the part where I'm disappointed is the run game. I'm disappointed that our defensive line did not make an impact like we've been doing all season long. This game reminded me a lot of the UTSA game. They were hitting us on the perimeter. We were getting out leveraged. We were getting pinned in. And I think that we were missing just the overall flow of what we wanted to do defensively as far as fitting in gaps, guys replacing other guys. And we were just out of sync. You got to give Texas credit on that. But overall, looking at this game, if you want to look at it from a standpoint of where we can be encouraged, it was a lot of what we did, not a lot of what Texas did. And it was a lot of out of character plays on our part that really stirred this up. So that's a lot to be encouraged about because you can fix that, right? Offensively, we got to get a rhythm. Marcel has to play better. We said it all year that we're going to go as far as Marcel goes. And Marcel didn't play his best game. I thought he was pressing a lot. I thought that he was trying to force a lot of things. He was out of rhythm, and you got to give Texas credit for that. But overall, it was out of character for us. But I don't think this is something where you look at us and you think that we are not competent to make a run moving forward in the playoffs. So I'm still encouraged. I'm disappointed that we didn't play well enough. I'm disappointed that we let another year squander where we had the opportunity to play for SEC championship, and we let it slip through our fingers again, and we let it slip through our fingers again to Texas. But overall, there's a lot to be encouraged about. There's a lot to look forward to in this playoff run. I'm excited about what we're going to do.
All right, let's talk defensively. So you said it was the first time in a while we've seen it, but unfortunately, those big runs have happened. The big plays has happened against this defense. We had a coach call in the show yesterday who said it was basically the style of defense we were playing really made those misfits the safety's responsibility. How do you see kind of how do they fix that? Do they change their base? What do they do? Because it seems like that's been a theme all season, but some teams have been able to really maximize it, Texas being the team that really did.
What you hear is alignment and assignment. It was just a lot of alignment fits. So part of the stuff that I was getting frustrated about watching during the game was I'm looking at just how we were aligned and we're getting out leveraged just based off alignment. When you look at the adjustment that Sark made at halftime, he started using a lot more 12 personnel sets, bringing the tight ends in, using a wing formation in order to be able to pin us on his run plays, right? So he wanted to use a lot of gap scheme, a lot of counter to where he would pin our interior players. That could be a wide end, that could be an outside backer that could reach up to the safety, and it out leveraged us from the point of attack, and they took advantage of that. But that's why I said it was similar to what you saw with UTSA. It was the same type of run game that they had in the UTSA game that they implemented in the second half against us. We just didn't make the adjustment to that. Guys just got to be able to step up and make plays, but those things are easily fixable. So when I heard Elko in the post-game press conference talking about that's on him, I can almost bet money that's what he's referring to. The fits, the alignment, the stuff that didn't give us the opportunity to win on those specific plays. Now, look, at the end of the day, players got to make plays. We can't have busts. We can't have all that. That's on players. But a lot of that was just fit and alignment. That stuff is easily fixable.
All right. Offensively, Marcel was not at his best. And yet, look, if game we can play, if Marcel doesn't throw those picks at the end of the game, who knows how different it feels, because they were able to move the ball a little bit in the fourth quarter. They had a hard time stopping Texas, and Texas didn't go for the jugular at the end. But if Marcel doesn't throw those picks, so are you concerned with the picks? Are you concerned with the flow of the offense throughout the night? What were you most concerned with? Because scoring 17 for a team that averaged 38 points a game entering that game, like that's significantly below the offensive output that we're used to.
I'm torn because I want to talk about both. I want to talk about Marcel and I want to talk about the flow of the offense. I think offensively we couldn't get into a rhythm, but I think we couldn't get into a rhythm based on the way Marcel was playing. There were plenty of opportunities for Marcel to take off and run. Plenty of them. There were times where I think he missed a few passes here and there to Craver, Concepcion, those type of guys when he had opportunity to gain 10, 15 yards if he just scrambled. I think a part of that had to do with his ankle injury early on within the game. But I think that if he gets into that type of rhythm, it changes what they do defensively, which opens up more of what Klein wants to do offensively. I think for the first time in a while, we just got out of rhythm. The last time we saw the offense out of rhythm was that South Carolina game, but there was a lot of things that it was just on us, drop passes, missed opportunities to score. But this time it was a flow issue. Remember, I told you offense is about chemistry, defense is about chaos, and we just couldn't get into that rhythm early on. But I thought we had an opportunity coming out of halftime. We had the lead going in. We get the ball coming out of halftime, and we just missed too many open chances that we had, man, to be able to take control of this game. But once again, if you're an Aggie listening to this, which is majority of the people, do not be discouraged about this. This is the type of thing that you can learn from and you can easily fix. If I want to have the hiccup, I don't want to have it against Texas. But we can take this tape and we understand what we need to do. And there's little simple fixes, man, that can elevate us moving forward. But I just thought that it's a combination of the two. Marcel was pressing, but also at the same time, I don't think that we were as aggressive as we wanted to be offensively.
Jordan, what about the team overall's ability not to manage the atmosphere as well as we've seen in the past? Because, I mean, look, any stadium that has 100,000 people is going to be loud and crazy, right? Especially if their team is winning in the fourth quarter. But look, that's my first time at DKR. It was a nice atmosphere, no doubt. I give them their credit. But I've been to Baton Rouge, I've been to Tuscaloosa, I've been to Florida, and it was really loud at DKR. But I feel like Baton Rouge is a little bit more intimidating. I feel like Tuscaloosa is a little bit more intimidating. I don't know, man. Like, why on this particular night was the atmosphere affecting the team overall?
The biggest key for us was managing emotions. And remember, I said that last week that we had to be able to manage emotions. So now what does that mean? So a lot of people think, well, we're super hyped, we're super anxious, we're super whatever. A lot of that is also the atmosphere as well. I thought that we did a good job of managing the emotions in the first half. I thought in the second half, we started to press. I just think that sometimes, man, there's certain dominoes that fall within games to where all of a sudden momentum starts building, right? So when you look at the big run that they had initially coming out on their first possession with Wisner breaking a big run, you're looking at the big explosive with the tight end, the momentum started to build, but we didn't counter that. And I think in the past, what we have done is we've countered those type of plays. And this is the first time in a long time that we haven't countered that. And so I just think, man, it's just one of those deals where it's the right time, right day, right type of atmosphere, where the momentum's rolling, the crowd is behind you, man. There's this energy in the building. It's hard to explain unless you've been on the field. You don't really understand. Like, there's a certain energy that you feed off of, and I think that Texas was feeding off of that. It was clear to see watching it on TV, and I bet you it was even clearer in the stadium. But I just think that we didn't do a good job of handling the ups and downs, the highs and lows of that, and the emotions of it all. I just felt like you saw a team that was pressing, that knew that we had the SEC championship on the line. That wasn't trying to win the game or wasn't trying to lose the game versus trying to take the game over. Look, at the end of the day, man, you have to give Texas their credit. They handled the emotions better. They took the momentum of the game over in the second half. They handled the line of scrimmage. All that is very true. But also at the same time, that wasn't the best of Texas A&M. And it wasn't because of what Texas did to us. It was a lot of self-inflicted wounds on our part. So that's the part that's encouraging moving forward in this playoff run.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you are not discouraged about A&M's chances to move through the playoffs.
No. Arch Manning, 179 yards passing. Is that phenomenal? No. 53 yards rushing based off broken assignments and lanes defensively. Out of that 179 yards passing, 70 or 80 of those yards came on one play where the tight end took it down to the goal line. When you look at the one touchdown pass that he threw, our safeties, it was either Ratcliffe or Brooks, one of the two, vacated their man, let him go, and he runs free and scores the touchdown. It is mental blocks, and it's what we did defensively from a defensive standpoint. It's what we did defensively, not what they did offensively. They took advantage of the mistakes. That's what they're supposed to do. But when you're looking at that, it wasn't that they made spectacular plays. It wasn't that they beat us to the punch offensively. It was what we did and what we gave up. That's easily fixable. When you look at what we did offensively, I thought a lot of it had to do with Marcel pressing, not allowing him to use his legs, or he didn't allow himself to use his legs in order to make more plays and create more plays. The two interceptions he threw were absolutely terrible, but I thought it was pressing, trying to make a play, understanding that the momentum is shifting. Now, they experienced a playoff atmosphere, and I think if we're looking at the silver lining in it all, that was the best experience they can have going forward into this playoff run now. You can learn from that. So I'm not discouraged by any of that because those things are on us. It's nothing that they did. It's everything that we did. And, man, we got to learn from that. You cannot continue to make those mistakes. Plus, I thought penalties crept up on us again. And we kept saying it all year that, man, we have got to fix the penalties because that's going to creep up on us at some point in time. There was a third down, a third and short. I can't remember which lineman false started. I thought that was crucial. We were in a third and long, and you had Hal that jumped off sides, and that's when Arch ran for that touchdown. I believe, man, those type of things shifted the momentum in our favor, or shifted it away from us. If we don't do that offsides, I don't know where we are, but I know our third down defense is pretty good. We have a record of that, especially in third and long. And so it's little things like that that just crept up, and we just couldn't overcome it. Give Texas credit on that. But we can fix those mistakes.
Okay. I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Yep.
We can fix those mistakes, but I feel like those mistakes have happened for most of the year, especially since the LSU game. We've seen a little bit more of that kind of creep up again, right? So is it maybe the level of opponent that you can get away with it, but at this point you can't get away with it?
Sometimes the greatest weakness is the success that you have, okay? Now, once again, when we talk about what we did, everything was based on us. It was based on us not making the plays, based on the mental bust that we had. They took advantage of that. Bravo to them. But sometimes, man, when you're winning as a player, you're sitting in the film room, coach is harping on you. Yeah, that's cool, but coach, we won the game. Yeah, that's cool, coach, we're 11-0. Sometimes it's hard to get the attention when you're having the success. Coach Saban used to say it all the time, talk about the rat poison, because it's harder to get players' attention when they are constantly succeeding, holding up trophies, doing whatever, all that good stuff. Now, Elko has the full attention of the football team. Now Elko can go in there and say, we squandered another opportunity. You had an opportunity to play this Saturday. Now you're going to sit at home and you're going to watch that happen again. Now he can go in there and say, for 2 years in a row, we have lost to the team that we don't want to lose to, and they have taken away the opportunity for SEC title. I have your attention again. And sometimes you need that to happen. Now, I don't want that to happen. Let's make that clear. But sometimes you got to grab the attention. If we're going to falter, I'd rather falter now versus going in the first round and faltering in the playoffs. So I think you're going to see more of a tight-knit group. I think you're going to see a group that's going to be on their P's and Q's because we understand the opportunity at hand. I'm disappointed that we didn't take advantage of the opportunity last week. But if we have to pull something from this, we pull all the miscues, everything that we did that hurt ourselves, and we move that forward going into the playoffs.
All right, Jordan, another area of concern. I'm just going to say it. You respond.
Yep.
Special teams.
I knew it was coming. Now that's been terrible. That's been terrible. There's no defense for that. I have no defense for that, man. Between the kicking game, punting game, blocks, you name it. I don't know what's going on with that. We have got to fix that because if we don't, that can cost us football games. And we can say that again with the Texas game. That field goal block, we would have went up 3-0. Is that correct? We would have took the lead off that first initial field goal. Yep. So if you look at that, man, that changes the trajectory of the game, especially if you fast forward to the fourth quarter. So instead of a 10-point lead, it's a 7-point lead, right? Instead of a 7-point lead, maybe a 4-point lead, whatever that is. So I just think that changes the nature and the flow of the game, but we got to get that going. We almost had it blocked too on a punt, I want to say, in the first half as well. I don't know what's going on with the special team. That's going to be a point of emphasis, man, especially in these next 2 to 3 weeks. Leading up to this first game, we have got to be able to get on that. But it's fixable. Now, we got to fix it. We got to execute, but it's fixable.
Yeah, I agree. So what's going to happen? Not that you know how to predict what the playoff rankings are going to be, but do you even care if they're 5, 6, or 7? Because I do care.
I don't. I could care less. We are in the tournament. That's all that matters. Put me at 12. It doesn't matter. Look, at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat good teams in order to win the championship. It doesn't matter what round you face them in. People come up with all these scenarios, matchups. If you want to be the champion, you got to be able to beat the champion. It is what it is. So, look, I hope if we have an overall consolation prize as a home game at Kyle Field, I can only imagine what that's going to be like. Part of the competitor in me, and people are going to kind of find this.
I know where you're going to go with this. I already know.
The competitor in me kind of hopes Texas gets in the playoffs.
I know it. I knew you were going to go there.
And the competitor in me hopes that we see them in the first round. I want to run that one back. I just think, well, let me take it back. I know that we're the overall better team. We didn't act like it. We didn't play like it. It was a lot of stuff that was self-inflicted. But, man, I would love to see that one back. But overall, I don't think we dropped too far. Maybe as low as 6, maybe. But that still gives us the home game. I think, look, our overall body work, man, it speaks for itself. Everybody's going to talk about the record, this, that, and the other. I think it's absolutely amazing how all of a sudden Texas is this legitimate team, but yet we have common opponents. And we beat Florida. They lost to them. They go to overtime with Mississippi State. We blow them out. But yet our schedule is cupcake, and theirs is just this gauntlet that they ran through. They play Ohio State. We play Notre Dame. It's amazing to me, right? I just think, man, people are going to say what they want to say. You got to keep the focus. You got to stay locked in. You got to do what you got to do. But, man, I really believe that we have everything that we need in order to make a run. I'm just going to remind people of this. The game that we played against Texas looked eerily similar to what Ohio State did against Michigan last year. Couldn't really run, couldn't really make plays, out of whack. Ohio State was the better team, but they didn't play like it that day. So, man, I think that there's an opportunity, man, in order to run to ride the underdog train, the overlook train. I hear it all the time that we are frauds, all that good stuff. Like the body of work doesn't matter. There's an opportunity for this. But now if I'm Elko, I think this is a blessing in disguise because now I have the team's attention. I have your attention now. And so I think, man, everything will be tightened up. And his track record of doing that has been excellent so far this year.
All right, then I'm going to close out with this question. What do you say to those? Because I'm not saying it, but I hear it. I see it. You're not Ohio State, bro. Stop talking about that story. That's not your story.
Well, I think it's interesting because, everybody wants to bring that up. And Ohio State's been playing well. But Ohio State has not been challenged yet. And I think when you look at what we've done, when you look at the once again, the body of work that we've had, you look at how we have won games in multiple facets, I think that we have been battle tested. Okay. And in this particular battle, if we're specifically speaking off last week, we lost that particular battle. We still have an opportunity to win the war. If we bring up Ohio State, I've yet to see them battle tested. And I think when they get into this playoff, especially if we find our way to that game, you're going to see opportunities for them, man, to find themselves in a battle. I don't know how they'll respond, but I know how A&M will, because we have 11 11 different battles where I've seen us come on top. So I'm excited about what we're doing, man. I think that we have everything that we need. My confidence is not wavered, not one bit. I'm not discouraged. I'm disappointed. I'm not discouraged because I think that we have the necessary pieces in order to make a run. And if you're an Aggie fan, man, you let it hurt, be disappointed, but understand what your team is capable of and what your team has. We have the bullets in the chamber. Now it's time to fire them off.
Jordan, I needed to hear this, man. Appreciate you as always.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, man. Jordan Pugh there on the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Always brings it every week. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, we're going to tap dance. And then we're going to talk to the film guy. Looking forward to doing that. All right, we'll hit a break here. Right now, we're talking about Paragon Financial when it comes to your money and your peace of mind. It starts with the right team, and that right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas with no commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, including 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Yeah, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
I should have been a Cowboy, guys. I wouldn't have to worry about talking. TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So a couple of things I wanted to respond to from Jordan Pugh, who was fantastic. He isn't as discouraged as many Aggies are, right? Because he said they're all self-inflicted wounds, right? Or most of them were. My counter to that is I don't disagree. My counter to that, though, is I think good teams make you make mistakes. And good teams maybe cast a bigger light on your mistakes. So I think a lot of these mistakes have been there a lot of the season. I've used the word a lot, right? But I feel like many of those mistakes have been around for many points of this season. But when you find a team that gets momentum, because momentum is a huge part of what happened on Friday, right? Like you can, Texas won by 10, and I know the comparison's been to what Georgia did to Texas, right? Like it was this avalanche, but it was really a close game. It was a 3-point game at one point in that game, right? Like let's be honest. So they had or 7-point game at one point. So A&M had their chances. There's no doubt about that they had their chances, but Texas exposed some areas in that game that I think A&M was getting away with against lesser opponents. So that's the thing. Like I still have all the faith in the world. But some of these things that you have to clean up, I think have been there, and some teams haven't been able to, and I'm talking from a defensive standpoint, by the way. Offensively, I don't know. Like, I have my struggles offensively with this game because it just didn't seem like the same offensive product we had seen. And obviously, when you only score 17 points, of course it looks different. And, you know, the Texas defense had a lot to do with that, right? But the flow wasn't there. I don't know. But I do agree. We got nothing to lose, guys. Let Texas in the freaking playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? Like
play them here, first round.
Or anywhere. Or
to
Cotton Bowl, whatever. Right? Like, I don't think they're getting in. I don't think they deserve to get in. Sorry.
I
don't think they deserve to get in. I understand if I were Texas, I'd be making the same argument. 100%. Right? Like, I don't think they deserve to get in. I wouldn't be surprised if they got in. But like, if you don't know if you don't know if Miami can get in, and you don't know about Notre Dame, like all the things Josh Pate was talking about, I don't think Texas is jumping over those teams. I just don't.
I agree.
You got 3 losses. Does that mean you don't want to schedule hard games moving forward? Okay, fine. Then don't. We're talking about this year. We're not talking about the future. Do whatever the hell you want, bro. Sorry, you're not all bros. But as for what it means for A&M, I think a lot of what happened on Friday are things that we'd seen most of the season, and I think a couple of different things. Tip of the cap to what Texas was able to do, right? Respect for their adjustments in the game and taking over and seizing the momentum. Props for that. And I also think that that part of the issues we've seen all season long, right? We've seen it. So we've been trying to fix things all season long. And some of it could be personnel. Some of it could be philosophy. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. I just know that stopping the run has been an issue this year. And Texas was able to get going after not being able to get going all season long. And if it's alignment, like Jordan Pugh was talking about, then we got to adjust the alignment moving forward because other teams are going to keep doing the same thing. But again, the problem with this game was it was offense and it was defense. Let's talk Brooks Austin on the other side, the film guy. He'll have an opinion on what happened, that and more. Right now, we're talking about Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Got to say it like that because, I don't know, you just have to. Today's fast-paced world, Caldwell Country Chevrolet brings that car buying experience right to your fingertips. Just go online. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your laptop. You can do it on your tablet. You can do it on the newspaper. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they have an ad in the Eagle. I don't know. But the bottom line is they have great deals when you go there, and you can find your perfect match and calculate your trade value. Financing process, the whole thing is easy to do, off in the comfort of your home. And they've got great deals as well. They're proud support the athletics, and they're ready to make sure you experience the difference when you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com.
We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline and talk to our friend Brooks Austin, the film guy here, trying to get him to 100,000 subscribers. What's up, man?
Nothing much, Nuño. How are you doing, buddy?
Good. We're at, 87,000. So we need all 20,000 people watching right now and listening all around Texas to all around the world to subscribe to your channel.
That would be ideal. We're on the road to 100K. I just want to hit that sucker by the end of the football season because Lord knows I ain't trying to walk through the Sahara that is the off season begging for subscribers.
Right. Well, and by the way, while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel too. It'd be great. Anyway, man. So I just talked to Jordan Pugh, former player, and he gave me some his thoughts, and he's like, "Look, man, I'm not that discouraged because a lot of it was self-induced problems from A&M." What's your perspective of what you saw in the film?
I talked about this last night on our show. To me, I was shocked coming out of that football game saying, all right, one of these teams could actually run the football today, and one of these teams can protect their quarterback and throw into easy accessible windows in the passing department. And that team being both those teams being Texas. Like, I didn't think going into this football game that if you told me, hey, one of these teams is going to have their best rushing game all season long, I probably would have leaned Texas A&M despite the fact that they ran the ball for like 250 in games before at this point. Like, Texas A&M was the football team to allow the first 100-yard rusher from Texas all year. That, to me, was surprising because this Longhorn team, guys, had been a football team that simply could not run the football. They had almost seemingly given up on even trying to run the football. And for them to have success against you guys, that would, to me, was the reason they won the football game, to be honest with you. And because, like, Arch has been playing great ball. Like, if you haven't been watching him the last month, he's been living in there and dirty pockets and throwing for 300 yards no matter what. I figured he was going to play really, really well, and he played really great down the stretch, and that's what won them the football game, like, to close. But the idea that they were able to run the ball was shocking to me.
Brooks, I was kind of shocked at both, right? The fact that it was an offensive issue and a defensive issue. Yeah. And then, I'll give Sark his props for the second half. They certainly made adjustments. Did you whatever A&M did in the second half didn't work, but did you see adjustments?
It's hard for me to be honest with you. I haven't watched the full all 22 of it. I watched the TV copy of that, and I'm always. I know you bring me on here because you expect me to give you all the answers. I don't have critical adjustments or critical or points of criticism for your coaching staff. I don't have that today. I think when I watched it on the TV copy, when I watched the feel and the flow of the football game, it felt as if A&M overcommitted to getting Arch on the ground. And when you do that, you can open yourselves up to getting gashed, both in the run game because we're being too vertical, we're getting too far upfield. And with a guy like Trey Wisner, he's able to make jump cuts, and that's a problem. We kind of got to build walls against those guys. So that's what I saw from anything schematically that I could tell you. That's what I would tell you. Now, defensively, I thought Texas did the best job all year against anybody, making windows tight and getting guys on the ground. They tackled you for 4 quarters. You guys hadn't been tackled for 4 quarters. I felt like the only play in that game where Longhorns defensive players weren't able to get guys on the ground immediately was Casey Concepcion's punt return, which why in the hell were they punting to the guy in the first place? That's the only thing I had. Like, other than that, I felt like the first time a Texas player had an opportunity to get an Aggie on the ground, they did so. And that's the first time anybody's done that to you guys all year. And you got to give credit where credit is due in that area for me.
Brooks, if these two teams played again in the playoffs, just in this hypothetical world, would you still pick A&M to win?
Yeah, probably on a neutral field, and getting a second crack at that offense, and feeling the flow of what they got going on, and understanding what I'm talking about with the regards to stopping the run. We can't be getting upfield heavily. We can't be trying to always chase TFLs. No, we need to chase a wall. We need to build a wall right now. Chase a 2nd and 9, because if we get them in a 2nd and 9, we got an opportunity to get them in a 3rd and 11, and then get off the field. But yeah, I'd probably pick A&M in a neutral again. But you said it's a hypothetical, and it is a hypothetical because I've been in battles the last 3 days with Texas fans on social media because they are not a playoff team. We can't be doing this. I hate how now it's, hey, if y'all don't let us in, the whole sport's crumbling. The college football playoff is going to crumble, and we're going to crumble out of conference scheduling because we don't get in. I don't like that. I'm not here for that. I'm here for, why is Texas the football team? Everybody knows they're good enough to beat anybody. Look at their roster. Look at how talented they are. We all know how good they are. We all know what they are at their highest. We know they're good enough to beat a program like A&M. We know they're good enough to beat a program like Oklahoma. But why are they the same football program that's also bad enough to lose to Florida, also bad enough to be in an overtime sweater against Kentucky, also bad enough to be in an overtime sweater against Mississippi State, also bad enough to lose by 25 to Georgia? Like, why aren't we talking about those things instead of talking about, if y'all don't let me in, I'm going to ruin the whole sport? That's my threat. I hate that. That's gross.
Well, yeah, look, I don't think they're a playoff team either because I think there's other deserving teams with a better record. And maybe they don't have the Vanderbilt win on their resume or the A&M win on their resume. But look, Miami may not make it, right? There's teams that should make the playoffs based on resume and based on beating Notre Dame. I'm using Miami as this example. There could be other teams that aren't going to get in possibly.
Yeah, or BYU. Like, look, I think the Big 12 is the third best conference in the sport. But they're about to have a team go 11-1 in the regular season, playing a conference championship game against Texas Tech, another playoff football team. And if they don't beat them, if they don't win their conference and go 12-1, they're not going to be a playoff team. And we got a 9-3 football team that lost to a 4-win Florida team saying that they should be and threatening the sport if they don't. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Brooks, I want to look at what's going to happen with A&M, right? So I think they fall to 6. That's where I think they fall. I mean, some people have them at 7. I've seen 5. They're not going to be 4, right? Even if there's some carnage that happens on conference championship weekend. What do you think happens with A&M?
Yeah, I think falling to 6 is probably where it's at. And then the real question is, like, what happens if Alabama, a team ranked below you, beats a team like Georgia ranked above you in the conference championship? Do both stay above you? You see what I'm saying? Like those are questions and simulations that we've got to have. I think you're pretty firmly entrenched in that 6 to 8 range, which means you're going to get a home playoff game, which is all you care about, right? The bye is out of the window, but you get your bye this week. You're not playing in Atlanta. So lick your wounds, get healthy, and get ready for a first-round playoff game, likely at Kyle Field.
Yeah, I really hope it's 5 or 6. Look, 7 be fine too, but I just think the caliber of opponent. But you know what? Does it even matter when you're in the playoffs?
Yeah, like, look, we can lobby and try to duck and smoke and hope we get a good draw. But, guys, straight seeding has removed all of that. Like, last year, being in that 5 spot was ideal, right? Penn State got to host a home playoff game against SMU and then go play a neutral site game against Boise State. Like, buddy, come on. It had people, all up in arms about Penn State being the number 1 ranked team this year because they were, quote, 1 play away from a national championship game when in reality they beat SMU and Boise. Now we have straight seeding, so it doesn't happen like that. Now you got to just go beat one of the best teams. That's what, again, not to replay it back to Texas, but the whole idea of we scheduled top 10 football teams. We were 2-3 versus 5 of them. Guys, you got to go play 4 of them in a row. I hope y'all know that. I hope everybody knows you got to go play 4 top 12 teams in a row in the college football playoff to win a national title. So, yeah, you can lobby your way, hope you get a good draw. You got to go play them anyways, and you got to be good enough to beat them.
What do you think happens with Ole Miss? Do you think they're going to get dinged a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sure they will because it's in the bylaws of the College Football Playoff Committee. I just think it's crappy. The whole situation is crappy. The whole situation for Ole Miss football people, they have been just crapped on by everybody left and right. Everybody telling them that their feelings don't matter, that they should just look the other way and let this guy coach their football team. No, don't worry. Everybody knows LSU's a better job. They're still Ole Miss fans, guys. They're still Ole Miss fans. No different than it hurts every time someone tells an Aggie fan that Texas is, quote unquote, a better job. I still don't want my head football coach coaching my team while also being the head football coach there. It's not allowed. So I think Ole Miss, the whole entire football program, their players, their fan base, they have really been demeaned throughout this entire process to no fault of their own. That is a football organization and fan base that has crowdfunded that roster, okay? And they don't got no billionaire booster family base out there, guys. They're selling old family heirlooms. They're instead of having 200 acres of land out there in Oxford or rural Mississippi, now they got 150 acres because they bought the D tackle last year. Like that's what we got going on. And because of the college football calendar, y'all might lobby to have their home playoff game taken from them. That's gross. I hate that. That's gross.
Do you think there's going to be a overreaction or a course correction this year based on that, based on Texas going to be complaining about not getting in, based on, what happened? Do you think there's going to be some kind of overreaction?
I think there needs to be an overreaction about the calendar. Everybody complains about the calendar, and I think we got one of two options with the calendar. Move the season all the way up, right? Like move it up 2 extra weeks, get week 1 starting August 23rd, and rush the season to end before January 1st. Or here's an idea. Maybe just tell football players that they have until February 2nd in the spring semester to decide where they're in school and where they're going to class. And all I'm asking for is an extra 16 days. I looked it up today. Most universities finalize their add drop period in that spring semester somewhere around January 15th. Can you give football players until February 1st to get into class? If you can, we can change the entire calendar. We can make it all conducive. We can make it look like college or, pro football. Also, by the way, can you let signees enroll in February instead of January? Can we do that? All I'm asking for is 16 days of leeway. But nope, we have to keep it stern to the academic calendar because, Brooks, they're student athletes and student comes first. Well, like I just said about the college football calendar, Ole Miss and the city of Oxford tonight has the potential to lose a $100 million event, an event that is going to change the economic outcome of a lot of people in that area. And they just lost it because the college football calendar. You tell me what's more important. Maintaining student athletes and the integrity of the academic world or that $100 million economic event that they might have ripped from them tonight. I don't know.
Brooks, I think regardless of the calendar, people would have gotten mad at Lane for leaving the situation.
Oh, no doubt.
But the calendar does provide like an excuse for him. So thinking about that, how do you kind of look at the whole Lane situation and compare it to what other coaches are doing and why it looks worse in your eyes? Or if it does look worse, maybe it looks better.
I brought up the calendar thing because everybody talks about it, everybody complains about it, everybody says it's the main problem in our sport. To me, it's very, very easily fixable. I do not associate that with allowing Lane Kiffin to behave the way that he did on the way out because, quote unquote, the calendar sucks. He got put into a tough position. We all get put into tough positions all the time. We all get put into tough positions. That's life. Life is tough. How we respond and how we act in those moments, that kind of defines our character. And I felt he went the last 6 weeks trolling his entire fan base, trolling his own players, trolling everybody. For what? For what? For more attention? Like that to me was gross. Yeah, that is nasty. That type of behavior is going to cause and create all of the vitriol that he is currently receiving, rightfully so. There was a right way to do that. There was never going to be a smooth, melancholy transition from I'm coaching Ole Miss to I'm coaching LSU. Those two programs hate each other. LSU looks down upon Ole Miss, but Ole Miss hates LSU. So there was never going to be any smooth transition, but we didn't have to do it the way we did it. You know what I mean?
Brooks, my man, I hope we do this more often, man. You're always great. I appreciate you coming on the show.
No doubt. We'll talk to y'all soon. Hey, I'm going live in 10 minutes. I know they're still live. I'll be live in 10. We'll see y'all.
See you, man. Everybody go watch Brooks after the show. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll do a final segment as we break things down. But right now, we're talking about our friends at Twin Liquors. What does Twin Liquors got going on right now? They want to celebrate every sip of the holiday season. They've got 100 locations across Texas. They're in your neighborhood. You can shop online for pickup or delivery. Plus, enjoy same-day delivery for just $5. Gifting made easy with complimentary bag and bow gift wrap. You can create your own custom gift basket. online or in the store. And you've got the deals of the week at Twin Liquors. Every Thursday, a fresh selection of items offered at a fantastic price. Shop those deals in-store and online, and calling all wine lovers. The Twin Liquors Holiday Wine Sale going on now. 20% off on 6+ bottles of wine. Shop now through January the 3rd. Pick up their brand new cocktail combo packs available at Twin Liquors. And they have a lot of different selections to look at. Check it out. It is Twin Liquors. They're in your neighborhood. Check them out. We are back. We call it TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We got about 2 minutes left in the program. So we're going to just talk some football to close out the show.
Yep.
McKinley Polanski.
Yep. We have a question from someone, doesn't say their name, but they said...
Did you know that you were whispering when you said that? Hey, we got a question. Sorry, I'm in the library. Sorry.
Not trying to do ASMR. The question is, with Kiffin taking his entire offensive staff except Joe Judge plus his GM, recruiting staff, and strength coach, how could the CFP leave Ole Miss above the Aggies?
How could they leave them above the Aggies? The only thing I think would be if they looked at the way the A&M lost to Texas and it being late in the season, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I don't think they should.
Yeah.
That would be the only reason. But I'm not those jokers. I don't know. Like I see things through our perspective. Everybody sees things through their perspective. That's why Texas fans are, arguing for a playoff, which we would probably be doing in the same position. No, probably we would be, right? Yeah. Everybody sees things through their positions, and I think everybody is also a little bit more critical of their own team
under similar circumstances, right? So I think both things can be true. What else?
Agreed. Texas A&M softball head coach Trisha Ford released the 2026 non-conference schedule, which includes 2 home tournaments and appearances at the nationally recognized Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational and Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. Aggie softball opens the 2026 season by hosting the Aggie Classic from February 5th to 8th and a matchup with national runner-up Texas Tech on February 7th.
Good stuff there. Thank you very much. All right, here's the plan for tomorrow's show. We're going to have a signing day show, and I can tell you some of what we have. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you the players, so I'm not going to do that. But I do know we'll have some people who are signing with A&M, some high-profile names on the show. I know Jamie McCoy will be with us for the 8 o'clock hour. I do know that Brandon Leone be with us for the 9 o'clock hour. I do know that I can't tell you who's going to be with us for the 10 o'clock hour because that's not been confirmed yet. But let's just say we've got some great names coming in. Billy will be here. Brian will be here. Jason will be on the show. And I'm sure Pablo Escobar will make an appearance as well. That'll do it from TexAgs Live here on a Tuesday. See you mañana.